Thank you, Shruti, for joining us on HRTech.SG's Tech Talks. I really appreciate your time and effort for this.
Of course, Sriram, more than happy to.
Perfect. So let's head straight to the questions. Just wanted to understand your perspective on, are you seeing interesting trends in the marketplace, in the workplace, that you think will be a game changer for technology adoption by HR teams?
Sure. So I think, Sriram, if we look at, what 2020 has brought to us today, if I was to look at the glass half full and not just look at, the fact that it was a pandemic, I can say that 2020 was also a year of innovation for so many different, companies. We've seen city children move to online schooling. We've seen office goers move to having remote work applications happening. So I think what we can say for sure is that there have been massive changes in the trends across all sectors, and HR is no different. HR has also seen massive innovation in tech. We've seen, onboarding become virtual completely, something that none of us thought was possible. Of course, communication and all of these things were always possible on Slack and, Google Hangouts and stuff like that. But I think it has accelerated this HR technology adoption for sure. And I think that's what we're seeing at the workplace today. I'm also seeing changes in, the work culture. So the virtual work culture where people earlier could meet up, have a coffee. Now we've had to have engagement tools just to have that, right? So I do meetings with my team once in a couple of weeks where we can just not talk about work and talk about, a game. So play a game, do something together. You need to sort of have that virtual connect built in. Also, if I look at, other things like, let's say, performance management, all of this was possible one-on-one, face-to-face earlier. Now you need HR tools to sort of have frequent check-ins to track the progress. There's lots of changes that we're seeing across the entire employee life cycle, if you ask me. So, yeah.
Interesting, Shruti. The pandemic definitely has not only impacted where we work from, but how we work, how we communicate with employees, how we reward them, how we measure their performance, how we engage with them. It's kind of shaken us up, and all of these has definitely been impacted, as you rightly mentioned.
Yeah, for sure. And I think basically just using all these cloud-based HR tech tools today, like, we use Slack, Google Docs, Darwinbox, there's Greenhouse, multiple HR tools that probably were always there, but you're using newer modules now to bring about, an increased motivation in the company through employee engagement, etc.
Interesting. So we'll definitely talk about some of these HR technologies in detail. One of the questions that I had for you, Shruti, is that when you look at Singapore, we are way ahead in terms of digital transformation, in terms of technology adoption. But when it comes to technology adoption by HR teams, there's still a long way for improvement, long way for growth. So I wanted to understand from you, in the new hybrid workplace, right? What do you think is the role of HR in digital transformation? You can share your perspectives too on this, but wanted to understand HR's role in the digital transformation process.
Sure. So I think definitely over the last 2-3 years, where we've seen people work only in the office and then work only remotely, and then now we're working in a hybrid space where already certain countries have come back to working, partly in the office, partly from home. I think some of the key things that HR needs to focus on is, earlier you would have people, have water cooler conversations, or, just walk up to people's desks in the office. Now we're not seeing that happen, right? So that engagement is a little lost, and HR needs to be that glue that sort of binds them together. And that is only possible through technology today. If we didn't have all these technologies to help us, with engagement, with bringing people together, communication, it would be super hard to maintain the same culture we had when we were working in the office back at home. And that culture is what makes a company what it is, right? So I think it's super key for HR to take that additional step, focus not necessarily only on official stuff, but also on people's personal front, and build connections both from a work perspective, team bonding, but also from a personal front to enable that between other colleagues at work.
Agree with you on that, Shruti. Culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So let's get into more specific on HR technology, right?
Sure.
Has the pandemic altered tech adoption by your team at Zilingo? If you could elaborate on what kind of technologies do you use, and how it has helped your team, that would be really good.
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I think with it at Zilingo, technology has always been in our DNA. We have been a tech firm right from the start. Like everyone takes to technology super easy. So we actually had it quite easy when we went from working from the office to remote working. It was fast, it was efficient because the tools were in place. And I think how we've seen that change is that although we had technology, we did not probably use all the modules that were available within that technology. So we used it to manage core data. Yes, we used it to manage, certain other things like leave management systems that you would probably see. But today we're focusing more on, rewards and recognition to increase motivation in the workspace. We're focusing more on performance management, frequent check-ins happening, not just a yearly check-in, a yearly review process, but actually have managers have check-in once a month. You have journal which tells you the history of all the things that you've done to avoid any recency bias, etc. So I think that's what we're moving towards. And certainly tying back into my previous two questions, I think engagement is a huge problem that we're seeing today, which is leading us to take on modules like Vibe on Darwinbox, which has employee engagement there as a tool. So it's sort of like Facebook Workplace for the company. And so we're running small games on that, like imaginary trips and things like that, where people sort of edit themselves into a photograph and paste it. There's things, everybody wants to travel but they can't. So how do we increase this, and engage them, I would say.
Fantastic. So maybe it would be good to detail about some interesting aspects on onboarding also, Shruti. Have you been?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've actually moved our onboarding thing completely virtual as well. That was, I think, probably the hardest, because generally when you have a new person come in, you want them to feel the culture of the company, you want them to feel the teams, connect with each person. So we've actually had to focus a lot on ensuring that it is the onboarding has been worked on a lot more, because we're focusing on teams, managers, heads of departments give us more information. I think we've tailored the welcome pages based on each person's department that they're going to join. We've trying to send people goodies when they join us, just to make them feel like they're welcome. But I think that culture is really hard to get right, especially when you have somebody new join, because they don't see what's happening in the workplace. So that's something that we've also enabled on Darwinbox actually, and they've been a great help doing that.
Interesting. What about recruitment, Shruti?
Recruitment, we still use Greenhouse at this point, Sriram. So Greenhouse is great for recruitment. We've had no issues with that. Although we were initially considering moving to Darwinbox itself for recruitment as well, because then the systems talk to each other, right? And you only have to fill in details in one place and then move in. But I think the recruitment module is still scaling, so we might just give it a little longer. However, I think recruitment has been, we have teams, we're hiring in Singapore, but we don't have a recruitment or a talent acquisition team necessarily based here anymore. We're able to manage recruitment across borders quite easily now, because everyone's online.
So interesting. So you're right from onboarding to hiring to people engagement, performance management. We see a suite of tools that Zilingo has been leveraging.
For sure. I think even tools like Culture Amp and stuff, we've been considering, to get the pulse of the organization, see where we are at. what do they really want? And I can go into detail a little later when we talk a bit more in detail on the engagement.
Sure. So that actually acts as a great segue to my next question on employee experience, right? So what is the key mantra that you adhere to when talking about providing best-in-class employee experience?
Okay, so before I get into my key mantra, I would say, like, let's talk about Gartner's reimagined HR employee survey, right, for 2020. It was super eye-opening, I think, because I noticed that they said we don't focus only on employee experience anymore. As employers, we need to focus on the life experience for the employee as well. So we need to focus on better mental health, and that will in turn lead to better productivity for sure. So we I think Gartner said something like 20-21% approximately they're seeing increase in better mental health, and 17% increase in better physical health, higher productivity of almost 21%, if I'm not wrong. So I think this basically just and the reason I'm saying this is because my mantra is linked to this. I think we need to build a sense of community at the workplace today. We need to make them feel like they belong here, that we're all working towards one single project, one goal. And that's super easy to forget, especially when you're working in silos remotely, right? So it's important to make them feel like they're all in this together, and we are all in this together, actually, irrespective of seniority, race, gender, the usual things that people feel that they're left out because of.
Interesting. So interesting that you mentioned it as a community. What we are seeing at the workplace today is that it's no more just full-time employees, right? The workplaces today comprises full-time employees, part-timers, freelancers, return to work professionals, interns, silver generation workforce, which are being rehired. So it's really proving to be a community. So more than employee experience, it's actually workforce experience. How do you engage with each of these segments in the same way that you would have probably dealt with only the full-time employees?
Absolutely. And I think at Zillingo, what we've done is we've even, and because we're talking about mental health, right, it's become a huge thing now. We've opened up free counseling sessions to all our employees across the globe. So anyone who's interested can just sign up for it. And we've actually got amazing feedback from people, because now they're beginning to see that the company doesn't necessarily care only about work. We also care about, their personal health and their well-being. And I think that's what all companies are going to have to do. It's going to become, table stakes benefits today, if you ask me.
I agree with you. Thank you on that. Let's look at probably pressing the fast forward button, and how do you visualize the post-pandemic workplace to be in your organization, Shruti?
So that's a good one. For sure, there are two key things that I can talk about. One is, of course, the most obvious one, which is we are all going to be in a hybrid workspace. There's no way we're going to go, fully back to the office. I think the reason for that is manifold, actually. One is, of course, companies get to save on costs, especially in major countries like Singapore and stuff, where costs are super high for rent. That's a big thing, especially for startups, I would say. But most people are going to see this happening, and it's even better from an employee standpoint, because employees also are able to now do things during the day. Let's say they would go to the gym for an hour in between, maybe at lunchtime or something, or they're able to do things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do, and get back to working right after. So I definitely think a hybrid workplace is where we're going to be at very soon. And talking about this, actually, Sriram, since you were from Cognizant, you'd know pretty well. 5 years ago, Cognizant was also talking about a hybrid workplace. They had hot tests brought into the system at that point, where they had coordinated one area, cordoned off, and said this would be for people who are working from home and coming in, right? So I think it was anyway on the cards, just that it would have happened 10 years down the line. With COVID, it has been accelerated, and it's been brought forward to happening in 2022. So that's what I would say from a hybrid workplace standpoint. If the second point that I want to talk about is also, I think we're going to see a huge increase in the talent pool. And why I say that is because I feel right now we're seeing a lot of companies open up to remote work. They're opening up to hiring people. Let's say the entity is in the US, but they're open to hiring people from India or Singapore today, right? So that's going to increase. Another reason for increasing in the talent pool is you will have caregivers, older people, people with disabilities, all these people coming into your workforce today. So definitely it's a win-win situation for both employers and employees, because employers are going to see massive increase in diversity, and employees are going to see a massive increase in opportunities for them. So that's something that I'm excited to see.
Interesting take on that, Shruti. So the final question for you is, right, today there are enterprises of varying sizes who are starting their digital HR journey. And when compared to that, Zillingo is definitely way ahead, right? So wanted to understand what advice would you provide to those who are really embarking on their HR digital journey now?
Okay, let me take that question in two parts, Sriram. So the first part, I would say, if I'm talking to employees starting out, like startups today, I would say definitely take on your HR tech right at the start, because I know even with Zillingo, this is where we are today, but 3 years ago when we were starting out, I think it was a lot harder, right? Because we didn't we had hired our HR people a lot later, and therefore I would say, looking at it, it was a Herculean task to backdate this information, and to put it all up on an HR tool, right? So you had your contracts, but they were all offline or paper contracts. So I would say, starting out for smaller companies, start out, you have so many tools available in the market today. You don't need to go for the expensive ones. You don't need HCM, Workday, SAP. There are so many other tools in the market today that are catering to startups, right? So you can totally go with them and eventually give enough space to evolve into maybe getting a more comprehensive tool as you grow and you scale. And for the second part of that question, since you said all enterprises, right? If I was talking to companies that probably have been around a really long time, they've already been maintaining, all their data either on paper or on the drive, but not on tools. I would say the important thing there is to ensure that change is managed well. People understand the need for this HR tech digital transformation that we're talking about. They otherwise, without like leadership buy-in or without having your key stakeholders understand the need for it, you're not really going to be able to drive adoption. So it's super key, I think, to talk about the necessity for it. And it's quite easy for people to understand. If we show them what's happened in the pandemic, people would take to it easily. I think it's important to manage that change well.
That was one of the most important points that we keep highlighting to our clients, saying that you might implement the best in class technology, but if the change management is not smooth, then the success of the implementation is definitely going to be shaky, right? So change management, transition management, because ultimately it's all about adoption of technology by people, and change management is critical.
Absolutely, Sriram. Totally agree with you 100%.
Thank you, Shruti, for being on HRTech.SG's Tech Talks session. It's really happy to note that we have HR heads like you who are driving business outcomes by leveraging HR technology. That's very, very important. Not just talking the HR language, but also focusing on business outcomes. Thank you once again. We really look forward to having you on our future sessions too.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure and I'm honored. Thank you, Srinam.